Something a client asked me today, and I'm asked this a lot, is it'll come up in conversation that males are at a marketability disadvantage when it comes to, you know, client preference. There's a lot of reasons for this, but it's one thing I tell men who are getting into this industry all the time. You need to be comfortable with that reality because it's not going to change. There's a lot of different reasons for this. But a quick search online will show you a big portion of the reason for this. But before I get into that, you know, like a lot of my clients will say, well, I mean, men are stronger and I like to eat tissue. Yeah, that's the only thing that keeps men fed. So, well, human nature. I think we just tend to look at women as being more nurturing. And not to mention, there's something about, one-on-one time with a woman. Not to mention if, your massage is a product. A very personal product, but it's a product just the same. And the reality is, if you put a random woman on the street, particularly my age or younger or whatever, on a product, you put her face on there, or you put my face on there, and that's the only difference, she's probably going to sell it more than me. That's just how it is. But that's not the main reason, I don't think. A lot of it is that it doesn't happen often. But not every man that's ever worked in my line of work has behaved himself. I mean, go a little further than that. Some of them have done things that are outright criminal. There have been two people in particular that I have actually interacted with. The first one, you'd never guess in a million years. I'm not going to get into the details of what they did. Suffice to say, they did. The law dealt with them, and client wasn't much appreciative, and that was the end of their license. And I know they both did some jail time. It doesn't happen much, but it only has to happen once in a while, and somebody only has to see it happen in the news in order for them to become apprehensive. And if they knew anybody that had something happen, which I actually knew somebody years ago. Was friends with two people. There was two girls. One of them was my age, two women. The other one was, I don't know, 19, 20 years old. And I worked on the older one, and she said, oh my God, best I ever had, yada, yada, and you got to work on my friend. I says, yeah, good, love to work on your friend, give her my number. About a month goes by. We initially knew each other at the gym, and we were on the stationary bikes, and she says, my friend is not going to call you, but it's nothing you did wrong. And I said, well, yeah, I hope not. I've never worked on her before. She goes, yeah, but she's never going to have another man give her a massage as long as she lives. I'm like, oh my God, what happened? She says, well, again, I want to keep these videos clean, but it was bad. And actually, coincidentally, I said, please tell me she turned him in. She says she didn't. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. You gotta turn someone in when they do a thing like this. And by the way, if anyone wants to know what happened, there's a comment section. Ask and I'll tell. I just don't want to put it in the video. But I'll tell in the comment section if anybody's curious. So right now I'll just say it's bad. And I says, he's going to do it to somebody else, right? I should also point out they were both dancers. And it took me a while before I had this process to me, but she was the younger of the two. She had been dancing for, I don't know, a year or so. And by dancing, I mean exotic dancing. And it took a while to process in my head, but it occurred to me, maybe to her, that's just a bad night at work. To an average girl, this average woman, this would be traumatizing. But for her, she's been there, she's done that. She just didn't appreciate the fact that she had to have this happen while she was paying. That's my assumption. I never did talk to her. I just so happened to end up getting a job at this establishment a few years later as a safety net because the other place I was at had a make or break thing happening. So just to make sure, got a job over there. This guy, the manager tells me about what happened. This guy did this to at least 11 women. These are just the ones that came forward. he did this to at least 11 women. Again, just the ones that came forward, which means that at least 11 women had this thing happen to them. And they didn't say anything until the first one did. And then another one did, and another one did. I knew, like, some people get, the Me Too thing, some people get kind of skeptical and whatnot. I happen to know that this was real because I heard it from one of the girls that it happened to long before anybody came forward. So all somebody has to do is hear about one of these, and they're afraid to be alone in a room with a male massage therapist or any other similar practitioner of another profession the rest of their life. There's nothing we're ever going to be able to do about that. It's just, if it never happened again for the next 20 years, I think there's always going to be people who think, yeah, but you never know. It could happen. Professionalism is very important. And there's a lot of men that do this for a living, in my opinion, that have nothing but the cleanest of intentions, but they don't know how to not give a creepy vibe, especially if they're kind of young, socially awkward. A lot of people are like that, and then some people are just creepy. And, you're paying money to have this person in a room with you. So if someone gives you a creepy vibe, are you going to take a chance at seeing them over and over and over again? Or are you going to go with your instinct? Most of us are just going to go with our instinct. I know I would, for certain. So this is one of the reasons for that. So between all of these things, and I tell people who want to get into this for a living, if you're a man, you need to accept that this is the reality. You're going to have to work harder to get clients. You're going to have to work harder to make people comfortable with you and whatnot. There's another video where I talk about the creep factor from a customer to a massage therapist. But the reality is that road goes both ways. You have people that the massage therapist has to worry about the customer creeping on them, especially if it's a male. Very rare does a woman do something inappropriate, Happens, but it's unusual. And the massage therapist has to worry about, the massage therapist has to worry about the client. Again, that's rare. And the client has to worry about the massage therapist. You never hear, for reasons that I think we all have some understanding of, that you never hear of a woman crossing the line with a client, male or female, and then getting in trouble with the law. I know it has happened, but I can't think of any examples right now. So that's the dark, ugly reality, and it's just how it is. I think that when a woman approaches somebody and hands her their card, I think people are just by nature more comfortable talking to a stranger when they are promoting themselves, for example, than a male. Things like this. So that's why I think that I'm not on a crusade to change that. Society is what society is. If someone breaks the law, then they should absolutely be turned in, prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. I want to be very straightforward about that. It should be obvious, but I'll say it anyway. So, that being said, if you have somebody who can fix yourself up really good, the gender of the therapist obviously shouldn't matter. But, I'm going to do a series at some point about all of the uncomfortable moments I've had, because people seem to enjoy hearing about this. But that is for a later video. For now,